Captain's log sometime in July. Flamingo Beach, Puerto Vallarta. Andrew here coming to, oh, it's not live, but I'm recording live. In the foreground you see a resort we've been staying at for the past 3 weeks. Just finished wrapping some fishing up. Caught one catfish. At least I didn't draw a blank. But hey, you know, I could do that when I'm retired, which I am. And so I haven't really done a video in a while. I wanted to put something together here and talk about, well, it's about 3 months. I mean, not 3 months, it's about 6 months. So 6 months since my wife and I started slow travel, fast travel, just traveling period, and started in Colombia. Spent about a month, 3 weeks in Colombia, and like I said, we're getting ready to wrap up a month here in Puerto Vallarta. And so beautiful place, had a good time. Stayed at a I guess it's a 5-star resort, and you know what, you could do it too. Less than $2,000 a month. We stayed here at this 5-star resort in off of Flamingo, Puerto Vallarta. And so, well, the catch is, you know, a few years back we made a impulse buy and bought a timeshare thing. However, you know, if you don't use it, then it was a mistake. It was a mistake either way you put it, but they have these specials that buy 1 week, get 1 week free. And so the past 2.5 months we've been staying at 5-star resorts in Mexico. Spent a month in Laredo. For some of you who haven't seen the other videos, maybe I haven't posted it yet. So spent a month in Laredo, 2 weeks in Cabo, and now here in Puerto Vallarta. So from here we're going to head to the Bahamas for about 3 weeks, and then not sure where we're going to go from there. But ahead there, as you can see to the right, that's some masseuse. So if you walk down the beach a little bit from where we're staying at, these got 4, 5, 6 tents. People they do massages like 600 pesos, so about, see, 6 5s of $35 a person for an hour massage. I haven't tried it, but I'm sure it's pretty darn good. Better than what the resorts will charge. However, the resort massages, they do have a lot more stuff to offer. But this way you can support the local economy. I'm going to, well, I was fishing this guy here in this yellow kayak without fishing, so I'm going to ask him, see what he caught, and I'm going to sign off here for a minute. Sayonara. Alright folks, so just talked to the guy in that kayak. He was out fishing earlier. I want to go fishing with him, but that kayak is only a one-man kayak. But they allow you to use kayaks out here with the resort. So it might, well, it won't be today, but I'll keep an eye out for him and try to join him, do a little bit of fishing there with him, and see if we catch something. But right today caught one catfish, but you know, I was just doing it for the fun, see what we could catch. And so anyway, so just wanted to check in here. A lot going on in my mind, a lot I want to say, because you know, this is just raw footage. Don't really prepare much, but coming up on the resort here. But that's all for now. Over and out. I'm back, folks. So walking up on this resort here, it's called Estancia. This is one of the Villa Group resort. and down is the one that we're staying at. It's called Flamingo. But what I'm thinking about, I just want to talk about really three things. I'm not gonna make a long list, but if you guys want to do the kind of traveling we do right now, there's just three things I'm gonna say that you probably should do. One, and it all depends on where you're gonna travel. If you're gonna travel throughout the States, Central America, definitely get you a couple credit cards that offer points, like the Chase Sapphire Preferred is one that we have. Then I'll definitely recommend getting the Southwest credit card as well. And the reason why is because, well, when I say get the credit card, you want to wait for the offer where they give you companion pass, and usually they do that, I think it's the beginning of the year. And so you want to plan it so that you get the credit card, so you get the companion pass. I think it is going to be a heck of a lot cheaper than paying for the flights out of your pocket or just using points. And the other reason too for getting the credit card is you could book the flight with the points. If something changed, you could cancel it. You don't lose the points, you get the points back. If you book it with the credit card or with pay cash, you can't get the credit for the flight. And then also you get you'll get free baggage, which is a big deal. I know starting this process out, we watch a lot of these videos talking about traveling with just say carry-on and a personal item. And I'm here to tell you that if you want to go comfortable, it's probably not what you want to do. At least starting out, first 3-4 months, you want to be comfortable. And just living out of a carry-on, you don't take a whole lot of stuff. You can't take a whole lot of stuff. And so you can pause it here, pick it back up in a minute. Good day, people. So here I am, just finished a little fishing experience. Came up with nothing, got a couple bites, but it's a little bit too rough out there. I just wanted to finish up what I started earlier, talking about a couple things that we've learned the first 6 months of traveling. And so the first thing, just to recap, is a credit card. Like, one would get points instead of cash, and the points here you can turn it in for airline tickets. And one of the main reasons is, you go to some of these places and you just don't know how it's going to turn out, and sometimes you go and you don't know when you want to leave. So you could always book a points ticket, and you can cancel anytime. If you need to reschedule for a later date or earlier date, you could always just cancel the one that you've booked, and no charge, and you could just reschedule it. So we've done that a few times. It has saved us quite a bit. Another thing, believe it or not, you'll definitely need a U.S. telephone number. So just don't think you're going to go to out of the United States. Well, Mexico you could use like your normal phone, but one of the main things you're going to have to deal with is your banking. And if you have just a SIM, eSIM, you're going to run into trouble. And if you don't have a US based number, you're going to have trouble. So that's thing number two. So and we had an experience where we're in Colombia trying to get into a bank. only my wife had a eSIM. I didn't do a SIM, and we had our carrier didn't operate down there. And it's a good thing we had Magic Jack, so we were able to call from the Magic Jack using the data from our phone and get stuff taken care of. And the third thing that I would suggest would be, don't commit to this life of travel until you try it first. And when I say try it, I mean, don't go. Well, we had ended up selling our house a couple years before, so we were renting, and you could always rent. If you're into the rental mode, you could always rent a house somewhere, so it's not such a big deal. But if you're gonna go and just sell your house and say, hey, this is it, sell your house, I would suggest holding off on selling your house. I would suggest maybe, just dabble in, and you're gonna learn. I mean, you could watch as much YouTube as you want, different people doing different things, but they don't tell you everything until you get out there and you actually experience what's going on. Is this a life for you? Then make the decision. I wouldn't go and just say, hey, we're going to Thailand, halfway across the world, where it could be challenging to get back, all kind of different things. My suggestion would be, taking a short, take a month, book a month to Colombia, somewhere in Central America, somewhere. Mexico, yes, but Mexico is kind of so close to the States. And there's so many compatible things with Mexico and the United States. I would venture outside of Mexico somewhere, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Colombia, South America somewhere, just to kind of see what you're going to run into. And that way you come back to the States, make adjustments, and then figure out, is this the life for me? Should I sell my house? Or, maybe, just go ahead and sell the house, but don't distance yourself too quick. I wouldn't jump the gun and say, okay, I'm going to go to Southeast Asia and just go. I would, it's just me. I'm not someone who just jump into fire. I like to test the water first. So that's my third suggestion. Just test the water someplace, go for a month, go back to the States, figure out what you need to do, go back again for a couple months, go back to the States, take a couple cruises, and then make the decision whether you want to go, across the world and spend longer time away from the States. Because you definitely have some things you'll need to figure out, banking, credit cards, debit cards, how you can get cash, all that stuff. If you're retired and you got to get Social Security, how do you figure that out? Those are all things that you'll need to figure out. And I would do that before going across the world. Doing it from the United States isn't going to help you. I'd say do it from somewhere close to the States where you could just jump back on a plane, go back to the States, and then go from there. So that's all for now. Talk to you from another country. Signing out from Puerto Vallarta. Have a great day.